Hey there, you probably all heard about OpenAI chatbot and its amazing intelligence in writing code and advising some stuff. Let's see if it can help us with secure, reliable transport. I will ask some questions about it and we'll try to get help on integrating SRT into some of them sample project. So instead of reading the documentation, which is always a bit busy and frustrating, I will just ask a chatbot what I need and see if it will provide decent help there. This is the chatbot window, how it looks like. Let's start with just asking a question, what is SRT? And maybe we need to greet chatbot first. Let's be polite. Please tell me about SRT. SRT, Secure Reliable Transport, is a low-latency video streaming protocol that was developed by Haivision, a company that specializes in providing high-quality video streaming solutions for a variety of industries. It is designed to transport video over internet and so on and so forth. So what I like here is that it didn't confuse SRT for the subtitles format. It actually shows me about secure reliable transport, and the information is quite useful. So it's like an abstract of something you can find in the internet. So what can I do with SRT? SRT is primarily used for video streaming, variety of applications, low latency, high quality. Some examples of applications that may use SRT include live streaming. SRT can be used to transmit video in real time. Remote production, SRT can be used to enable remote collaboration, production, live events. That's true. Video conferencing, SRT can be used to enable real-time low latency video conferencing, allowing people to communicate. And if they were in the same room, well, yeah, kinda. Digital signage, yes. Education, yep, why not? Okay, SRT is a powerful tool and it can be used to enable high quality, low latency video transmission in a variety of applications. Okay, accept it. Show me an example in modern C++ of SRT live receiver. Here is an example. How you might use SRT to receive a live video stream in modern C++. Okay, in main, startup, so main doesn't have any arguments, so we don't have command line input here, that's okay. Startup, that's correct, so we first initialize SRT library, that's absolutely correct. Create socket, we don't have an option to specify IP or network interface and port to bind to, so we just bind in to 1, 2, 3, 4, which is probably not the best port number to use because it might be used by the system. Then we listen on the socket, so there is no configuration on the socket. We just start listen and tell that we want at most one connection in the backlog. Then we accept new client connection on this socket and we don't take remote IP address of it, which is okay, so simplified usage. Then once we accept the connection, we started receiving data. So we have a buffer of 1000 bytes, which is not close to the MTU size, but okay. Then in while loop, oh, I like this. So we start receiving into the buffer. I would use size of here because like it's a constant, which is also not quite maintainable. Then we received some bytes and just print bytes, that's also okay. So once we get some error, SRT receive returns negative value, then it's obviously an error. Then we break the loop and close the client, close the socket, and clean up everything. So it's, I would say it's pretty good. SRT receive is okay to use. There is a better function SRT receive message that also takes some structure about the message, but here we don't need it. So I guess also not an issue. And the default blocking mode is used here, which means that all these functions, except for listener, of course, so SRT accept would actually block until something is accepted. We don't check for the client value, accept may return also negative value, so you would like to check it, not go further receiving any data, but it's kind of minor thing. Pretty simple, which is also nice because it's clear to the user. It doesn't have extra features. And good quick start to check SRT API and get some example problem. The chatbot also provides a description. The example creates an SRT socket and binds it to the local port 1234. Yes, that's true. Then waits for a connection from a sender and accepts the connection when it arrives. Once the connection is established, the example enters a loop to receive data from the sender and print out the number of bytes received. Pretty accurate, of course. This is just a simple example, yeah, for sure. And you will likely want to do more with the received data in your own application. You may also want to add error handling and other features to make your code more robust. Yeah, thank you. But can you add error handling for me, please? Oh, well, please. Let's just ask. By stating this question, I also assume that chatbot preserves the context of our conversation. Thus, it will follow my previous question, it will follow its own answer, and will provide me kind of similar code, but with error handling. Let's see. That's my expectations. Okay, I got the response. Here is the example code with error handling. Let's see. Okay, it checks the start minus. If it returns -1, then it's an error. Okay, yeah, because if startup returns some positive value, it means that it just was already called, so it's not an error. That's good. Then creating socket, checks the socket. That's also great. So it checks if error is returned. Calls cleanup. That's nice. Then beans checks for error. Again, cleanup. Well, it's calling this manually is not like the very clean approach, but still it handles the error, so it understood what I want from it and actually did add error handling, which is, well, kind of awesome. Then we accept, check for error again, so every function has some code, bytes received, error, failed to receive data on the SRT socket. Okay, that makes sense as well. Close. So it actually did what I asked it for. Okay, let's create a sample application to send live stream using live SRT stream using modern C++. Generate the stream using std IOTA. Let's see how it will handle. In the example above, it created listener. So in SRT, the concept of listener and receiver are kind of detached. So listener can both receive and send. I guess the bot didn't mention it in the description. So just created the listeners. So you would need some kind of information, additional information on the SRT to understand what's going on. Now we are seeing an example. It looks like it preserved the context that I asked it to handle all errors there. Okay, let's see what it does. So it creates, again, initializes the library, creates socket, checks for error, then connects. So it's already good that it didn't create another listener, so that I actually can, or someone can actually use this example. Tries to connect to localhost 1234. It's the same port that is used in the listener side. Arrow, close socket, that's okay. Again, 1024. Generate some data, so fills the buffer. Then while true, it sends buffer, sends the message, and this read sleep 4 to have some intervals between saying, which is also good because we can generate at CPU speed, and this instruction will slow down things to send one packet every 10 milliseconds. Did we include chrono? Chrono is not included, so it might not actually compile. If send fails, then we close the socket and clean up the connection, which is pretty awesome. Again, let's see the description. Example: creates an SRT socket, connects to a receiver, and then enters the loop and stuff. This is just a simple example. Yeah, of course, modify to suit your needs. That's simple example with arrow handling, so it preserved the context of my previous question, and also good quick start to like start playing with SRT API. So it actually provided a good boilerplate, let's say. Now let's say I have the receiver. I want to send some real data. How can I send an SRT stream using FFmpeg? Those who follow this channel might know that there is a quick start video with SRT on Ubuntu, where we used FFmpeg to generate some artificial stream with vertical lines. Let's see. Chatbot is creating an example, FFmpeg. It doesn't tell the input or codec to use, so it just abstracts these things out. Then -f SRT destination. Here's what each of these arguments does. That's pretty useful. So let's start from the very beginning. FFmpeg powerful tool, that's true. Install on your system. Use FFmpeg to encode and send your video stream. The basic syntax for sending SRT stream using FFmpeg is as follows. So inputs the path, input MP4, for example. So we can use MP4. Here, as it suggests, an codec we would like to use for encoding or transcoding. Target bitrate, destination, this example. And also an example of the complete command with H.264. What does the strict mean, I wonder? It didn't tell. What does this option mean? Command reads the input video file and codes it using H.264 and sends the resultant stream to a SRT receiver at the same address that we wrote. That's pretty good. Hope this helps. I'm not sure if it will run. Let's actually try to use, because I wonder if it will work at all. I will open terminal. So FFmpeg. I'm a bit worried that it will not quite work with this FSRT. For example, you will not be able to see it in some VLC media player, which expects probably MPEG to TS. But let's see what FFmpeg says. FFmpeg complains on MP4 with low score of 1. I need some specific MP4 file, so it might be complicated. So I would like instead, because well, I have a certain knowledge that we can avoid using. I don't want to use any input file, just generate some sample stream. Let's see if it will remember that I'm asking about FFmpeg and will provide some useful example. Certainly, if you want to generate sample video stream rather than using, you can use test or source. Okay, that's great. That's what I was looking for, because I'd rather avoid using files. So it suggests to generate test pattern at 30 frames per second, 640 by 480. Common uses test source, filter, so on and so forth. You can just customize test pattern. Well, that's actually pretty helpful, because if you don't want to Google for FFmpeg and like look for every command, you kind of get some overview of what you need, and then maybe even ask chatbot to further improve the example. Let's try to copy it. Now I will paste. Output file doesn't contain any stream. Output file doesn't contain any stream. That is what I was suspecting. probably this FSRT is not quite correct. I would say that it's probably MPEG TS. Yeah, MPEG TS. So it failed to connect, but I also think the payload size should be provided. SRT Cookbook has an example of it. Let's go to apps, FFmpeg, and example is empty bars. So I guess this option might be missing. PackTS and this packet size, just to set the certain size of packets, otherwise it will also not work. But that's already close to what we were trying to achieve. So I will start VLC and try to 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to listen port 1, 2, 3, 4. And I try to connect, and connection failed. I'm actually not sure if VLC supports listener. It might not support it. Let's try to connect. Let's try to connect to a remote listener, which will be FFmpeg. Again, I'm not sure if FFmpeg is able to do it, but let's try. Open and connection. Try next address input. So it tried to connect. What if I tell mode listener? Now it starts listening. Oh, and it is streaming. Although you need some knowledge to modify the example. Let's ask chatbot how can I play the video? Again, I expect. Let me close the stream. Again, I expect that it preserved the context and will tell me how to play back the video that it suggests me sending from FFmpeg. To play an SRT video stream, you need a player. One popular option for playing is VLC media player. This is free, okay. Open network stream, the URL copy in the form where destination is the address and port. For example, to play an SRT stream, you would open VLC. Okay, so it will be a caller, SRT caller, many other players. So it suggests me to connect in the caller mode, but FFmpeg also has caller modes. So I am applying my knowledge here and asking how can I use FFmpeg in SRT listener mode. Well, actually, let's not help the chatbot. Just will not tell about SRT. How can I use FFmpeg in listener mode? That might be more complicated. So FFmpeg includes a listener mode that allows it to receive and process SRT streams. That's good to know, but we already proved it. You need to specify -listen1. Listen address. Wow. I was not aware of it. So a completely different example. So it's now input. Okay. I'm not sure if it's a valid command, but just out of curiosity, let me try it out. Connection failed, so it's not a listener. So it tried to connect to remote. Didn't complain about this -listen1, but it's not a listener mode, so it's wrong. So it was a wrong advice. Means that I need to specify a bit what I need to do. I want FFmpeg to generate a stream, an SMPT bars live stream, and use SRT listener as an output. Certainly you can generate live bars stream. Test source, okay, that we know already. Pixel format, codec strict -f SRT, and again it's not listener. And again it's not a listener. Although I specified SRT listener here, but I'm not getting listener. Okay, that's a bit concerning, but some things you will have to Google yourself. Reading documentation, So it didn't tell me how to set up SRT listener. Let's ask how to play this stream, using FFplay. To play an SRT stream, use FFplay utility. So I requested to play exactly this stream, and it again provides me a caller. The port is the same, but still it's a caller. And what I'm missing here is that throughout the whole conversation, I didn't get any notion about caller and listener in SRT. So if I didn't know where the mistake is, I would kind of struggle understand why it's not working. Maybe. Well, it's not perfect yet. It's also research preview. So first step towards, I would say it's already pretty impressive, the results that you can get. Still, you need to apply your own mental efforts to process this. Is it better than Googling? Maybe, because you can receive some key points and have a quicker start with it. Still, it isn't free from mistakes or blunders. Use it cautiously. The final question I have to chatbot is that's my personal question. Does VLC support SRT listener mode? That's just personal question. I think it doesn't, but I am kind of lazy to Google it. I'd like to let chatbot Google it for me. Yes, VLC Media Player supports SRT listener mode, which allows it to receive and process SRT streams. You will need listen address, listen port. I'm afraid it will not be a listener. So as you can see, it suggests that setting the host to zeros would hint SRT to use SRT listener. Let's try it. I'm not sure if it's listening or not, but let's try to connect to it. We have a previous FFMPEG that will work with some changes with packet size and MPEG-TS, but let's try to connect. And listen, please listen. No connection. So I'm afraid VLC doesn't support listener mode, and chatbot actually lied to me. The final thing I want to do is to see if chatbot can actually help resolve some issues, so actually do some work. Let's do some funny thing, and I see the question. Chatbot may actually answer, that would be funny. What do you think? What can you answer on this? There was some error processing the request. Let's try to regenerate the response. The issue described in the link you provided relates to a problem with SRT send function. When used in the library, the function is returning an error code. There are a few possible causes for the issue. One possibility is send function is encountering an error when attempting to send the data. Okay, let me read the question myself. Transmit, I need to change network interface to get UDP stream. Okay, what's the question? How to bin device in SRT live transmit. Well, I'm afraid that it didn't understand the question and answers a different question. Let's try to find something else. Let's see, for example, some issue. Please fix this issue. I'm sorry, but I am an AI language model and do not have the ability to fix issues. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, it's answering some questions. I've got some assumptions from chatbot, but I'm afraid that's not the correct one. But I'm pretty excited to see how this thing evolves, because like answering questions and automatically resolving issues. So, what do you think about this chatbot? Will it replace you soon, or you still have time to drink a cup of coffee and relax a bit? Tell me what do you think in comments to this video. Share your experience. Do you like chatbot, or you kinda afraid of what is coming? Stay safe.